Sarah Jessica Parker, who plays Carrie Bradshaw, is generally regarded as a terrible actor in today's society. To be honest, she isn't the most well-known or even the most well-liked actress on Sex and the City due to a variety of factors, such as her reputation as a bad friend and her tone-deaf opinions on a range of sensitive subjects, but one of her most distinguishing characteristics is that she never showed her trousers when she was passing judgment. What If was intended to maintain the crude comedy of its forerunner while also benefiting from being written from a more informed, adult perspective. Persona investigates the characters in current society and describes many of the historical mistakes of the programs, such as lack of representation, especially in light of her field of work. Although it undoubtedly had its moments, sex is now a far more open and uncontrolled subject. It also seems as though Carrie's conservatism has been handled in some way. Bradshaw, despite Carrie's history of severe criticism of others, her views were seen as more progressive throughout the first season of the show. But since then, she's made a ridiculous 50-step backward turn. Carrie has never been prudish, despite the fact that she definitely has difficulties, so it's unclear why this has altered following Mr. Big's passing. She should, however, exercise a little more restraint and caution. She covered fairly graphic subjects in her column in the 1990s and the early 2000s, when sex was a much more taboo subject. Today, however, she won't use the word vagina in a podcast called Sex in the City. The discussion of sexuality and sex-related issues has significantly increased. But those who tune into her podcast S1 can hear candid conversation from someone of her caliber and reputation today. In typical conversation, she stays away from certain subjects. Carrie was clearly too conventional and shame-dish for someone with a sex column, even though the show undoubtedly pioneered new territory when it debuted in 1998. She never ran out of things to write about because there are so many single women in New York, but occasionally she was disrespectful to her friends, notably Samantha. Samantha had the most obnoxious and out-of-control attitude and was quite sexually explicit. Because it was an episode-long narrative, Carrie made fun of and reprimanded her, stating that she would never behave in such a way after 5 seasons. Despite the fact that she blamed the city for the sex in Sex, Carrie frequently rebuked Samantha for her actions, such as when she came and overheard Samantha ranting at the mailman. What does it matter if Samantha was having an intimate connection with her mailman? Samantha questioned, echoing what everyone else was thinking. Was it truly as crucial as Carrie claimed? Before walking away, he gave Carrie one more glance and said, "I cannot believe that you judge me after everything we have been through. As long as I have the freedom to breathe, kneel, wear whatever I want, and blow whomever I want, I won't let your society criticize me." This chat sounded especially disconcerting given Carrie's history with Mr. Big and the fact that she had only recently begun dating Aiden. When Carrie informed Samantha what had happened, she was undoubtedly horrified, but she didn't criticize or blame Carrie, which was a lot bigger transgression than a lunchtime romance with a handsome mailman. The distinction was that Charlotte, unlike Carrie with her column, never claimed to be curious and open-minded. Instead, she simply had different values than her friends. She wasn't always kind or accurate, but at least she wasn't regularly lying about her true feelings as Carrie did. Even Charlotte, who has long been regarded as the designated prude, seems to advance more than Carrie does in light of her new place in the season. Carrie Bradshaw's reluctance to go nude was linked by Sarah Jessica Parker to the show's emphasis on sex and nudity. However, in a recent interview with Howard Stern, Sarah Jessica Parker talked about this decision and how her character uses profanity. It's important for actors to always feel like they're on set, even in such private settings. The only prominent character who had never been naked was Carrie, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. When Darren Star, the show's creator, was questioned about Parker's interview, Parker said, "My only concern, which I confided in him, was that I didn't feel comfortable performing in nudity, and if it wasn't in the pilot it would probably be a part of a series." Parker remarked that she had never read anything like it and found the prose to be immensely enticing, exhilarating, innovative, and unique. Star only stated, "Don't do it," according to Parker, and other artists are not obligated to concur. Parker stated that just because they were on HBO, Carrie did not automatically have to respond to Stern's question about why she was using the language Carrie did in such a casual and liberal manner. Carrie Bradshaw is a writer and is extremely purposeful about what she says, how she says it, where she says it, and to whom she is saying it, so if we want to use language, let's be very careful when she does. As Parker pointed out, at the time, Carrie's use of more forceful words had a greater impact, which might have contributed to some of her worst outbursts. The character's shortcomings are not Parker's fault, but it seems as though they have been slightly changed. Carrie, with the exception of Carrie, who is still a cherished character we want to see grow, we are getting to know each character better as Miranda learns more about her sexuality and orientation while being educated by her kids in Charlotte. Due to the fact that they appear to have emphasized behavior appropriateness in the remake, the authors and creators are still mostly to blame for the representation. Carrie, on the other hand, seems to be caught in the past, which is a tragic tragedy since it prevents the city's sex from happening if our primary heroine is so unwilling to talk about her sexuality and intimacy in a public place. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating videos if you enjoyed this one. In any event, Carrie's stuffy reputation needs to be shed for the sake of the program. Samantha's resemblance to Kim Cattrall may aid in her academic endeavors.